Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's episode of The Untold. This is a show where we have amazing people, astonishing talents. I'm your host, Abdullah Hindiani.
And I'm your host, Saad Al-Azmi. Indeed, we have a new episode of The Untold story of Asmaa Alattar. She will talk about carpentry, interior design, how she started the wood carving, which is, I am a big fan of wood, as you know, Abdullah.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, if you go to her social media accounts, you can see all of her designs, and
Yes.
mashallah, she is creative. In Arabic, mubda'a. She has an eye for it, and I'm really curious how she got her start in all of this field,
Yes.
right? Because she's a woman in this kind of field that we'd imagine takes a lot of hard work,
Yes.
manual work. So I do want to ask her about that. I do want to ask her about her beginnings and her idea, her vision.
Yes, surely, Abdullah. Behind all artists, there is an untold story. Today is the time to share. She will share her untold story with us, especially of how to combine, as I said, wood carving with interior design without any problems.
Without any problems, hopefully we don't delay the conversation any further. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back with her. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. But most importantly, thank you, Asmaa Alattar, for being our guest today on The Untold.
Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. We are happy to have you here, a very multi-talented artist. Tell us about the beginning of how to you started from art interior design to switch to wood carving. This is a very interesting for everyone to know about this story. Tell me about your story.
I think I have the passion of art and design since I was in teenage years. I was raised in a house where the carpenter lived with us
Yes.
for almost 1 year and a half. We wake up with a smell of fresh wood every day. And what amazed me was the carpenter and my dad has to manage what ideas they have
Yes.
and turn it to a real thing. And I used to see my dad trying to put his hand on anything so he can sketch.
Yes.
So most of my inspiration of sketching and art started by just watching my dad and learning from him.
This is very interesting and amazing because Abdullah, I love the smell of wood.
Yeah.
And I love to be surrounded by wood.
Yeah.
And her story, and I think everyone, all artists should start from these years, which is the teenager years, and the influence of her father.
Yeah, and honestly, you know what I love about, your beginnings is that you are here today for your role in something you've discovered when you were a teenager. I think that puts you in a very unique spot where you've discovered your passion so early on, and then you were able to transition that into making it a career and make it something that people can see. So I do want to ask you about that progression. Like, at what point did you finally see yourself as not just taking this as a hobby, but this is something that represents you? This is something you want to do.
For years, I was blocking myself using wood and using my creativity path. It was very hard years, actually. Until now, it's very hard to use my whole personality into art and wood carving. It's not easy because we're in Kuwait and we're in a society where women not usually use or work and handcrafting.
Yeah.
But I couldn't stay for that long without using my talent or carving something. And I started by studying architect on my own at home. And one by one, so step by step, I thought maybe I can carve small chairs. I started with small chairs, and it was my first time I made a chair. It was in the pandemic, and starting from that, I went to let me try the other machines, the
Yes.
bigger one, till now.
I think the pandemic make everyone artist these days. Everyone is showing their artistry through this period. So now let's talk about this carpentry. It's very difficult. Anyone can do it. Anyone can start. You can learn the basics, but to distinguish one artist or one person from another is the artistry of this very difficult job. So how can, in your opinion, how can someone switch from field to field if they have the talent. As you said, you love wood, you love the smell of wood. You started, and now you are doing great job. We saw your social media accounts. We are really admire what you did.
Well, actually, I think I am going through a creativity path instead of just hard carving wood. Because what I'm doing, going from stage to stage, project to project,
Yes.
is choosing to answer questions. I start with a question in my mind. I always look with a curiosity at the world, and I choose one thing to learn. And then if I look for an questions, I would choose one to answer. And I actually started with making a dough that cover the furniture. To become more useful and sustainable for years. And then I started to learn that the base is very important. And because I had the passion for wood and the smell of wood, so I try to carve with the small knives actually. And when I met a group of artists, they said, you have the hand for carving. And I thought, I'm going to try it. So it's just a question to another question.
So that gave her the confidence, Abdullah. This is my question exactly. So how to know if you are for this field? So you have to try, and this is the journey. Afra.
Yeah, honestly, and I'm amazed that you discovered this kind of, I would say talent early on, and then you were able to progress it through so many different stages. We've also discussed briefly in the beginning that you're in art interior design. And so I'd imagine that requires, it's the person who brings the, carpenter, the wood carver, and tells them, I want this and that. But you're in a unique role where you are those two persons. So how do those two fields, mix and match when it comes to you personally?
Art is the way of life to see how we can live comfortably in our homes and our places. So being an interior designer and hardworking handcrafting, I choose the most memorable pieces in the house,
Yes.
and I cherish that piece. And keep some of it and work on it to have a new useful
Yes.
piece in the
How
place.
to reuse the already essential, and
Yeah.
you have it in the house. Let's talk about mistakes. Now, as you know, carving wood you can make mistakes. Now, let's talk about the journey of if you had made mistakes. We saw your art, it's really beautiful. So how did that affect you in your development?
I actually am based on mistakes. For every day, I look for mistakes. A mistake is an open door to another solution, and I always see. I'll always see the design or see life entirely upside down.
Yes.
If you see it, if you see the mistake as a good thing, you won't see it just a challenge.
Yeah.
You will see it, it's a new open door for a new solution. So I have a lot of mistakes and I have a lot of challenges every day.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, speaking of challenges, this reminds me of a very funny anecdote that I've had with my distant cousins. When we were growing up, their father, my distant uncle, he was also a wood carver. He also did a lot of carpentry in his own, house. He had his own shed. So when we were driving, every time he sees a plank of wood or a log or whatever, even if it's in the neighbor's yard, if no one's watching, he would send us out of the car. He's like, bring them down, bring them, hurry up, bring them.
Yeah.
Because now I have a new idea for a piece. So I do want to ask you, when you're coming up with a new piece, where do you get the inspiration from? Where do you get your ideas from?
I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's always the same thing.
Yeah.
You always get inspired from other people's work. It's wrong when we think that creativity, it should get an idea from the sketch, from the start. We build up our ideas and we have built our life. So we can't build a new furniture from the scratch. You always see other people and put your hands on it and then build a new thing.
Yes.
And it's a good way to have life grow and also our furniture and comfortable grow with us.
the superstar, I think, of furniture is chairs. I was talking to Lujain. Lujain, she's now traveling, our co-host here. She loves chairs. And she said that this is the piece that is with the art. And we noticed that you prefer to work with chairs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this artist. Why chairs?
Why chairs? It's the base of comfortable. You can't have a house without a start of a chair. And I always look where I have to start. I have to start with being comfortable. So I need the perfect furniture to be comfortable. That's what make me look into chairs more.
And it's very difficult because people will judge you. They will sit down and they will try the piece that you did. Is it comfortable? Is it, after all, what you did is right?
You can't live life without judgment.
Yeah.
You have to hear judgment every day and on everything. So judgment make you grow.
But
and
you have to
either choose it
You have
or
to
not.
combine being comfortable with
Yeah.
artists. So
Yes.
do you sacrifice the how to be comfortable or how to be creative?
No, actually, I have to choose being comfortable first
And then
rather than being an artist. But what I see art as a solution to be comfortable. So all my pieces, I see it as an art piece.
interesting.
It is interesting because I recently got back from my own travels when I was in Europe, and I was in an art museum, and they had all of these chairs. And, I don't want to swear, but I don't think a single one of them looked comfortable. And I think I want to go back to Saad's point of view, is that your role in the balancing, I don't want to say when your role in wood carving, but as an artist, have you ever had an idea for making a chair that is more on the artistic side instead of the comfortable side?
They look uncomfortable.
It is comfortable, I promise. It is comfortable because I choose the inspiration of the new ideas from everywhere. But when I start with one measurement of a chair that's very comfortable, not the measurement of the chair that I choose. I choose to have the shape of the body being comfortable all the time. And because when I started my first chair, actually it was a praying chair for my mom because she can't pray while she's standing, and she hated the chairs that's everywhere. So I made my first chair for her, and it was on her body management and measures, and I use it till now.
Very interesting.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, and very creative. Now, approximately how long does it take to make one piece of art? Chairs, let's say.
Because I choose to do one project at a time, and because I have a family and other things to do.
Very busy.
So yeah, and I like research a lot.
Yeah.
So it take me as much as I can to be comfortable doing it,
Wow.
because it's not like a working time. I only have a few times in my studio to do one thing at a
But
time.
in your opinion, how long does it take if you are really 100% free to do it? 1 week, 1 month? Is it
I think 1 week or less.
1 week or less?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you have the whole
Yeah, you are
tools, yeah, you 3 days to 1 week.
Free. And
But,
you-
but I'm not gonna do it in 3 days or a week.
but that will sacrifice the creativity.
Yeah, if you are doing a standard chair, it will take less than 1 week. But if you're creative and if you're looking
Yes.
to do it with a challenging wood or a challenging thought, like the last chair I done, it was a 3-leg, and I used an African very hard wood. So it took me time, and I didn't cut it. I carved it instead of cutting. So
Yeah.
it take me now to 7 months.
So
Oh,
much.
mashallah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking my time
Yeah.
at the start.
Well, one of the presidents, I forgot of which company, when they delayed a product, he said a delayed product is better than a bad product.
Yeah.
And I think as much time you put into the thing, as long as the end product is something you feel proud about, it doesn't matter if you've
Yeah.
spent it week, months, or years.
Yes.
And speaking of chairs, I do hope our audiences are seated because we are going to take a very quick break. We'll come right back after this one. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And first, I do want to ask you about something that I'm really curious about. What is the most challenging aspect of creating all of these, wood, pieces?
I have a strict schedule uh, every day to keep my art alive and developed every day. I start with reading and drawing every day. So because I see a lot of chairs and a lot of wood and carpenter, how they work within new machines, it's always given me an inspiration to start something.
So do you plan every piece, or during the process you change your mind? You become even more creative and you said, no, I wanted to do this, but now I change my mind. Or do you keep up with the plan?
I always change my mind. It's a new opportunities with a new challenge. So if I see an opportunity of a new challenge, I'm gonna choose that way.
Do you visit your old plan that you already did? Because this is a different project now.
Yeah.
Because I think the artists, they have a mind different than anybody else, Abdullah. Because you are the artist, you are the master of this piece. And how do you stay comfortable on following any plan? Because it's not a plan anymore. You're always changing your mind, as you said.
It's not that big change. You have to have a base. You have to
The
have
base is the same.
a standard thing to walk on.
Yeah.
But adding a new thing, adding a new material or a new line in your art um, is developing the piece where I have to work on.
Yes. That's why it's a difficult job
It
to
is.
be creative for a long time, because you are still young for this to stay. And every time she's getting the experience of how to carving new projects, new plans, I think you are going to even better projects than the ones that we already saw.
It is, yeah. And honestly, you reminded me of something. I was watching this show, which is a reality kind of contest where they are making glass and in different shapes, and then it's a contest depending on whichever made the better shape. And I remember they said something that really stuck with me, and it feels so fitting for this
Yeah.
episode, is that they said there's a rule when it comes to construction work. And this is, there was Americans, an American show. He said, measure twice, hammer once, which is always, before you go into a project,
Yeah.
before you go into making any kind of piece, plan ahead. So when you said you're always changing your mind, and especially when dealing with wood, which is something so hard to change, so hard to go about making it into a different kind of, ordeal.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about your process, because you said you start your mornings by reading, and then by writing, by drawing things you want. So take me through these steps from A to Z. Like you start, you have a new piece working, you get your ideas. Do you draw it? Do you look at the wood? Do you see different kind of shapes? Like, what is the whole thing?
I always start my day by reading about creativity and a question in life as a whole. And then I go to drawing, and I draw hard pieces, something that I know I can't do it. Just from that, it gives me an idea to do a standard chair, but with that twist. You're right, you need to have a plan and measurement, and that's where my challenges go, because I can't stick with a one plan,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to. And I put my plan first, and I put my measurement first, and then with carving, it gives me a chance to change it, to add something. So if I see a chair that start with a standard, and then I remember the chairs that I was drawing, and it was very hard with a twist. I just notice I just take one glimpse of thing and add to my new chair.
Actually, I was inspired by what you just said. So you aim high and you don't care if you can't reach that high. So you challenge
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you think challenging yourself? Because this can be because it's failure if you don't make it to the plan, which
Yeah.
is aiming high. How did that affect you?
Because at first I said I'm going in a creativity path, and in a creativity, so you can open and do a new thing, and create a new thing. You have to have a challenge. You can't stay in one spot and one point, and you think that you're gonna have a new a way or a new even furniture. So you have to aim a little bit far, and you see that it's very hard, like using a clay without burning it in the ovens or with a high heat. How can I use it to cover a whole furniture? So it's like two things, and it's very impossible to do. And when you're gonna do it, how do you manage to put it together?
And you don't see that as a failure, right? When you don't reach that high,
Yeah.
you see it as success.
Yes, it is for me a success because first I challenged myself and I did something new, and you always learn from something new, even if you don't reach that goal.
This is the mentality. I'm talking about creativity and artistry together, Abdul.
Yeah, honestly, the blend of creativity and artistry is such a fascinating kind of topic
Yeah.
that I'm always admirable and enjoyable whenever we have artists on the Untold, because it, allows us to explore a lot of how creativity comes in all different forms and shapes. I do want to ask you about something because you mentioned, I think your answer for my next question is going to be the chair that you made for your, mom, the praying chair.
Yeah.
But outside of that, what is the piece, the design piece that had a lot of personal, impact on you, that had a lot of impersonal effect on you?
Actually, it wasn't a chair. Uh, my project was an interior design. I worked on a house that made in the 50s, and it was 4 years ago where they asked me to work on 2 rooms there before they turn it down. And they want to use it as a personal training business. In that house, I searched for the history of the house, and I managed to find a lot of people who went as a guest in many events.
Yes.
And because of their stories, I looked into the house and I saw the layers on the walls, which was starting from 50s to the 90s, and they didn't tear it down. They just keep covering on top of each other.
I think all artists, they reuse old furniture, old items. Now let's talk about the vintage items. Why they are all the ones that are seen as artistic? What about modern chairs or so? Do you see the artistry in these modern pieces?
Um, because of art is a translation of our emotions. Um, as old ages, we used to express ourselves with our work. That's why you can see the vintage ones has a lot of details because we had a lot of emotions. As now we want to cope up with life, and it's very fast, and we can't. We can't face our emotions. We chose to cover it up with just small lines and less of details.
Yes, I think the emotion, especially with a piece, a chair and a coffee table. I love coffee, as you know. So if I have the perfect coffee table and perfect chair with the right amount of
perfect day.
yeah, perfect setting. That's why, Abdul.
Yeah. This reminds me of a episode of a TV show
Yeah.
where the entire episode was about making the perfect coffee table. And I remember that episode stayed with me because for the regular people, they don't think a lot about the furnitures, besides them.
Yeah.
But when you go to furniture, that stuff that was handmade, instead of factory, each one of those has a story. Like each one of those has
Yeah.
so many hours of, work and tiresome and a lot of, effort that goes into it. You don't really know how much meaning there's in a lot of these,
Yes.
little bit of mundane stuff. So yeah, it's a perfect day.
Yeah, I think art, it's not only a painting or something like art piece. It's also the furniture that you can make art of. Recently, I was in Osaka in Japan, and I think the carpentry, if you are, I know that you know about Japanese carpentry. They don't use steel or anything to join the wood together. They are the masters. But we saw that they told me there that this art is fading now there because new generations, they are not interested in carpentry. You are a carpenter. What do you think about these styles, which is in Japan and other countries?
Me, as a wood carving person, I aim to learn carpenter without any steel or any tools.
Yeah.
And there is a artist who use that method, and they very highly.
And it's not easy to join two pieces of wood together because the wood to join together, you need a lot of measurement. Tell us
Yeah.
about this process of joining two pieces of wood together.
That part where it's very hard for me to learn, and I chose to cooperate with other carpenters in Kuwait, and they're really good trying to teach me how to do it.
Yes, I think this is the perfect. Well, that's why I mentioned. I'm not talking about to tell you about my travels or anything because I saw it actually and I asked about it. It's really amazing how they can use all of this wood without one piece of steel to join it together. You need mastery for that, Abdullah.
Yeah, they do. And those kind of woods, I've seen them show up on a lot of social medias where they're making puzzle boxes from wood,
Yeah.
but it has so many gears and so many functionalities in it. And it's always fascinating to look at them.
Yes.
With that in mind, I do want to thank you for joining us on today's episode because unfortunately we have run out of time.
Before talking about, I want to show you something. It's very cheap, which is maybe half a KD. This is wood. This is for my camera. I love to hold wood in my hand. So I have a better, we call it misbah. How do you call it in English?
Misbah.
Marbles or yes. So I think wood is amazing, and we are really happy to have you here in the studio that you criticized when you walked in. You said this is a very nice studio. So you promise us to design something for the Untold.
I will. I promise I will.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you
with
for
us.
having me.
You are most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Asmaa Alattar, for joining us. Thank you, our dear viewers, for being with us. We are going to take a break. We'll come right back after this one. And that's it from us, the team of The Untold. Honestly, I love this episode.
Yes.
Enjoyed it tremendously.
Woody episode. I love the talking about wood, about how to be creative in doing your hobby. Today, I think we talked about how to combine it, and Asmaa Alattar, she gave us the blueprint of how to follow your passion, especially for something really challenging. She loves challenges, and now I am inspired 100%.
You are inspired. I am inspired. Hopefully, the audiences are inspired.
Yes.
With that in mind, we've ran out of time. But until the next episode of The Untold, goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now.